If you're a teacher who's looking to secure a better income stream, becoming a full-time online tutor is honestly way simpler and more rewarding than you think. I've taught the 5 things that I'm about to teach to you in this video to over 2,500 teachers now, and it's been able to help them go from teaching in a classroom for a pittance to being able to teach from the comfort of their own home, teaching when they want, earning more money than they ever dreamt of, still impacting more students. So let me walk you through what these 5 steps are so you know exactly how to begin. Because here's the truth. It doesn't matter what you teach, as long as you're an academic teacher, these are the 5 things that you need to focus on to become a full-time online tutor. So let's begin. So the first thing that you need to get right if you want to become a full-time online tutor is your positioning. And this is really important because so many teachers go online and they position themselves as a math teacher or a science tutor or an English tutor or a Spanish tutor or a drama tutor or a geography tutor, and you get the point, right? Now, the issue with that is you're a generalist, so you simply just blend in, right, with the masses, okay? So you blend in with the masses, and therefore you're just like another pebble on the beach, so you look the same as every other teacher. Well, then it just becomes a race to the bottom because you end up competing on price, and your students aren't going to pay you what you can truly charge and what you deserve, right? Which then makes it very hard to become a full-time online tutor because you're getting paid a pittance. So it becomes very hard to then, and slow, to replace perhaps your teacher's classroom salary, right? So it ends up just becoming like a, like a little side hustle instead of a full-time thing. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is position yourself inside of the marketplace with a premium offer. So if we look at my iPad right now, if I come in here at step 1, right? So if I go here, this person here is standing out to their students. So if you look, I've got the students all here looking at that go-to tutor, that one teacher that they see as the specialist to solve their particular problem. Now, of course, as a teacher, you're obviously marketing to the parents as well when you go online for the majority of you, depending what age you're going to be teaching, right? And so you need all of your ideal students to be able to see you as the specialist, as the go-to person, the expert that's going to help them. So if you think about when someone's got back pain, they don't go to the GP, they go to the chiropractor, right? And so therefore that person is going to pay the chiropractor more money. Okay, so the question then is, how do you position yourself as this go-to tutor so you get all the eyeballs on you and not the other teachers? Well, it comes down to these 5 questions, okay, or 4 areas. In order to be able to attract, if you look at my little triangle that I got over here, in order to get to this place where I put like the green, like the, like that's the bottom of the funnel, if you like, okay? That's identifying your ideal student. So the first things you need to do in order to get that are, 1, what subject are you an expert in? So you need to, of course, be an expert at teaching, right? You need to have experience teaching either in the classroom, or you need to have had some sort of teaching experience and be qualified to teach your students, right? Because otherwise you're going to get found out pretty quickly, okay? So you need to be an expert at one specific subject, or you need to have experience teaching that subject, yeah? So that's step 1. So you pick that subject. The next thing you need to ask yourself is, which student am I an expert at teaching? Or another question, where is there more demand? Okay, so where is there more demand? Which students want to learn this subject the most? So that might be, for example, if you're teaching math and you can teach high school students versus elementary students, then you probably lean towards high school students because there's more riding on it. They're closer to, like the final stages of their schooling, right? So therefore there's going to be probably more demand. They're approaching key tests. Whereas if you're an elementary teacher and you can teach math, then you need to identify, obviously, in elementary school, which age group wants math tutoring the most. Because the early years, maybe they want reading support, right? So that's the key, is to identify who's the student who needs your support the most in that specific subject. Where is there going to be more demand? The next question is, what result can you get for a particular student, right? So what result does that student want to achieve? Do they want to achieve a 1500 SAT score? Do they want to read on grade level? Do they want to jump 2 grades in their reading? Do they want to score a grade 9 in their GCSE if they're from the UK? Do they want to become fluent in Spanish? Do they want to play their first song on the guitar? What is the result that they're actually looking for? Okay, so you've got to be able to identify that, because if you can communicate that result, this is what is going to help you when you come to market your business and actually get students, right? Because you can talk about the result that you're going to deliver for the students. And if they want that result, they're going to see you as the expert who can help them deliver it. So what you're doing here is positioning yourself by building a marketing offer before you go to market. Because so many teachers, they just build a website, put themselves online. Hey, I'm taking students out. I'm taking on students. They don't get the foundations right, okay, on who they want to attract. I'll explain later on why that's so important, okay? And then once you've nailed the result, the next bit is their dream outcome. Now, the students don't want to learn to play their first song on the guitar just because they want to play the song on the guitar. They want to perhaps become a musician when they're older. They've got a dream to become a musician and be in a band, or maybe they've got a dream of traveling the world and that's why they want to become fluent in Spanish. Or maybe they want to go to a top college in the United States and gain a scholarship. So they want to get the 1500 SAT score or 4.0 GPA or whatever, so they can actually go and attain that. So you need to work out, why is the student after that result? Why does the parent want the kids to be able to jump 2 grades in their reading and start reading on grade level or be at the top of the class for their reading? Why are they after that? So that's their dream outcome. Now, once you've got all of these things, there's only one student who's going to want this, right? Because you've got one singular message, one singular result and dream outcome that your students want. So now you've identified your ideal student. So once you've done that, here's what's going to be able to happen for you. You're going to, one, be able to charge more because people pay for results. Okay, people will see you as the specialist. You're not going to blend in like a pebble on the beach because you'll have a unique message to shout about inside of the marketplace. As a result, you're going to get more eyeballs from your ideal students. And the reason why that's so important is because then those ideal students can actually be grouped together because they've got similar problems and similar goals and desires. So therefore you can group them, and this is going to be really key, and I'll talk to you about this shortly so you can see how you can really, really quickly start earning more as a teacher as well. And that's, of course, imperative if you're going to make this a full-time thing and not just a side hustle, okay? So that's positioning. Once you've got this sorted, the next step plan is you can start to market. You need to actually create demand, all right? So you need what we call lead flow. So step 2, now if you didn't have the positioning correct, here's what would happen. Over on the red circle you can see, this is the marketplace, right? So if you just consider that as the marketplace where you might be advertising your business, maybe it's on social media, on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or wherever, right? So inside of the marketplace on whatever social media channel you're going to be using is all of the students. And the students are here, right? Now, if you were to just be a generalist and you didn't get that positioning, right, and you just said, hey, I'm looking for, does your child want to learn math or something like that, then you would be in this red circle because your ads, you can see the little squares, I've just put ads, so advertisement. You'd just be blending in with everybody. Your ads look the same. They're not appealing. They don't stand out, right? So because you've got your positioning correct, you can now start to place ads in the marketplace over here, okay? And you're going to be able to appeal to ideal students. Now, you need to use laser-targeted advertising strategies on Facebook or Instagram because it's quick and it's fast. Now, if you want to become a full-time online tutor, the last thing that you want to do, okay, is rely on referrals and word of mouth and just be posting on random social media channels all day, every day, hoping for the best, hoping that people see you, or building a website, you know, and they're just slow ways, right? So it's not saying that you can't use those methods to get your first few students or attain a few students, but if you want to become a full-time online tutor, you need a predictable and fast way to get students reaching out to you every single day. You essentially need demand. lead flow, right? So the quickest way to do that is to then place the ad and pay for it to do the work for you. So because you've now identified an ideal student, you can pay for the ad on Facebook, on social media, and you don't need much tech skills to do this either, right? It's pretty easy. You can just pay to place it in front of your ideal students. You can target them. Guys, quick interrupt. I hope you're enjoying the video, but I wanted to make sure you picked up your copy of Teaching on Your Own Terms. It's my best-selling book, and it shares with you the exact 5 steps what I've used with over 2,000 teachers at this point, helping them build their dream online teaching businesses. It went to bestseller in 7 categories. It's been featured by NASDAQ in Times Square, New York City. And I know you're going to love it. Inside of the book, you're going to learn things like how to position yourself as the go-to tutor in the marketplace and the offer that you can create to get your ideal students reaching out and how to communicate that. I'll share with you what I've seen as the best advertising strategies to get in front of new students and parents who want what you've got, how to sell your services, and everything you actually need to include in an online group tutoring business to make sure your students crush it and get great results. There's some free gifts and bonuses in there. I think in the first couple of pages, there's a link. You can go and grab some free gifts on me, but I know you're going to love it. Teaching on Your Own Terms. I'll leave a link down below in the comments and go and pick up your copy today. So if you can do that, and then it's your ideal parent or student who sees it, and because you've got the positioning correct, they're going to read it. Hey, that's me. That's my kid. My kid wants to achieve that result, or I'm the student. That's what I'm looking for. This tutor understands me. This teacher understands me. They get it. Looks like they can help me. So guess what's going to happen now? They're going to click on the ad. Okay, because you were able to speed the process up, create demand, and now therefore you've got people to speak to. Okay, you've got a predictable system to enroll students. Okay, so now you can move on to step 3, which is conversion, or I also like to call it the acquisition system. Okay, so if you think about the reason why you need to build something to convert the students, let's say that you've just launched an ad like we did over here into the marketplace, right? Now, parents and students, it might be appealing to them because they've resonated with your advert. And so, of course, they're going to click on it. But you've got to remember, you're not marketing to people who know you, right? That's referrals, they're word of mouth students like we spoke about over here, okay? Which is the slow way to grow your business and become a full-time online tutor. The quick way is using paid media because it's targeted. And like I said, you do have to remember these people have only just seen you, okay? So they're not just going to whip out their wallet and say, yes, sign my kid up. You've got to be able to provide value and educate them, okay, on how you actually help your students achieve said result, okay? So we call this the acquisition system. Now, what's going to happen generally is they're going to click on the ad, like over here. They're going to come from your ad and into this acquisition system. Now, what we found worked the best, okay, is things like messenger marketing. Instead of building these crazy websites that most online teachers do, they're just like these shiny brochures that are just confusing parents and students, turning them into window shoppers. And now it's encouraging them to go and, like search other Google sites for other teachers. They end up comparing prices. So it just delays the process. So you want to really drive these parents and students as quick as possible, either using like a funnel, okay, or a simple messenger-based ad. So they click the ad, they come into perhaps a messenger conversation with you. We've definitely found that work best with all the teachers that we've helped with, and we worked with over 2,500 teachers at this point. And now you can start to educate and have a conversation, build rapport with these parents and students, okay? So you can talk to them about one piece of value around how you're going to help their kid or the student. Now, here's what we'll do next with the student. Here's how we also help. We also do this. We also do this. And so you can now really start to build that trust in a conversation. Okay. So this is what, if you think about a conveyor belt in a factory, right? Now what happens is the product, in order for it to become a finished product, it goes through different stages through the conveyor belt, right? Well, that's essentially what you're doing here. You're converting the lead that you generated when someone clicked on your advert up here. You're converting them into a potential student by building trust and establishing rapport and providing value. Now, you could do that again, like I said, by just, like speaking with them and explaining how you can help, okay? You can do it by providing some homework, some training. Maybe you've got some resources that you could build to educate your parents and students on how you actually work with students. Maybe if you've already got started a little bit, maybe you've got some case studies, things like that. And this is what you're doing here. Because the next step, now you've built all of this trust and you've built desire up in the parent and the student, okay? Now they're going to be more likely to want to speak with you and come into potential Zoom call or a sales call or a consultation, whatever you want to call it, warmed up. Okay, so a lot of the selling is done up front here. Okay, now that then leads us into step 4. So if you're going to become a full-time online tutor, you've obviously got to get good at sales as well. Okay, now the good thing is, okay, you don't need to be this amazing sales pro or anything like that. You don't need to be too salesy at all. Okay, in fact, it's really easy. Okay, but most teachers, the reason why they struggle to sell or replace their teaching salary with online tutoring and do this full time is because they don't get this step right up here. Yeah, so they don't get step 3 right. They don't build trust and value before the call, and so it then becomes very hard to sell services at a premium rate. Okay, which allows you to go full time. And plus, when you get on Zoom, you can't just sell to the parents and students, hey, yeah, you get 1 Zoom lesson a week, and then I'm going to mark your homework. What you need to be able to do is to be able to present what we call a grand slam offer. So this is the student enrollment part here. And you need to be able to explain on this call, learn about the student, and then essentially detail every single step that you're going to work on with the student to get them the results. So the first thing we're going to do is just, for example, build an assessment. The second thing we're going to be able to do is we're going to master the content. Then we're going to learn exam taking techniques. I can be able to explain the journey. Now, when I get a taxi, for example, and I get an Uber on my phone, I put in my current location where I want to be picked up from, and then put in the destination, and Uber magically shows me the route that the Uber is going to take me, right? The taxi. So this is essentially what you need to be doing on the Zoom call or the consultation with your students, and not just present, okay, that you'll learn about the student and then say, hey, yeah, this is what we'll do. We'll have a couple of lessons a week or whatever, or 1 lesson a week, and it costs this much, right? Of course, people aren't going to pay you like premium rates just for lessons. You need to build a roadmap for your students, okay? So step 4 is be able to have meaningful conversations on Zoom, present a roadmap to the students, okay? So you're selling the destination, not the plane, all right? Not what they're getting, okay? Which is the lessons, yeah? Now, that only works, as I said. The way you can make this easier if you build a lot of value and trust up front with your leads, okay? Now, once you've had the Zoom consultation with the parents and the students, you've now got a system, right, to speak to new parents and students because you've got great positioning, you've now got lead flow, you're able to convert those leads into people that want to speak with you, okay? You've built up trust, so you're having Zoom conversations. Now it's just a matter of making sure that you're delivering to your students in the correct way, which is step 5. So there's 2 ways that you can go about this. Okay, now if I try and zoom out a little bit, let's have a look. Okay, I'll show you this version first. Okay, so that when it comes to step 5, this is student results or student delivery, how you're going to deliver your tutoring services online as a teacher. Now, what most people do, and what most teachers we see them do, is they start taking these students on. Now, if you look at this model just here, option 1, let's say that you're teaching in the day, right? So let's say that you're teaching and you get to school or whatever, 8 a.m., 7:30 in the morning, and then you teach until 3:30, maybe 4 p.m. So you're even pushing it to be able to start taking students on and teaching them at 4 p.m. So you probably can't even do that, right? So if you think about all of these students being in a specific hour after school, you can see what happens. Right? The only way for you to be able to do this full time is to start taking a student on here, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., 7 p.m. to 8, maybe even 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Probably a lot of students don't want to do that. But most likely, you can't even start here. And probably that's out of the question as well, right? And so what ends up happening is you build a glorified job where you end up teaching, if you don't get the delivery aspect right, you end up teaching students one-on-one. Your evenings are completely gone, and therefore you've got no time now to speak to new students to potentially enroll them, okay? To be able to work on marketing your business, to be able to, actually have a life. So what you end up doing to do this full time is you then end up having to work, as you can see here, on Saturday and Sunday. You fill your weekend up with more students. And so this is the broken model of becoming a full-time online teacher. And to be honest, the whole goal of building a online tutoring business is that you make sure it's a business that gives you time freedom, that allows you to have more impact. Well, here you're stuck. You've got a ceiling over your head because there's only so many students you can see, and therefore there's only so much income that you can earn as well. All right. So the correct model is to build what we call a scalable delivery model. Okay. So the key is to enroll students into groups of potentially 5 to 10 students. Now, we've seen teachers enroll, it depends on your teaching ability. It depends on the age of the student as well. It depends on the subject. So there's a few things, variables that go into it, but most people can always work with at least 5 students in there. Okay. Now, to show you this, what you would end up doing is, and I'll show you how you can then quickly make this a full-time thing too, by how much money you can actually earn from this doing something you love. So the numbers here are your groups. So let's say the first group, okay, is group 1, just there. They see you on a Monday, right, at 5 p.m., okay? They also then see you on a Wednesday at 5 p.m. So you work on filling this group first, okay? So they see you twice a week, okay? Now, alongside that, you probably put 5 students in, or maybe you put 10 students in the group. Now, you would generally sign these students up. So when you held the Zoom call here, you would generally make an initial enrollment for probably about a minimum of a 12-week commitment from the student. Okay, now if you haven't seen some of my videos on the channel, I got loads of training on how you should price your services, something like that. But just for the example in this video, we'll just say that you're going to charge the student probably, like anywhere in between. If you're just getting started, you might be at like $500 or £500, maybe it's $750, or maybe even $1,000. Anywhere around them, those areas are great start points. Okay, so let's just say it's $1,000. Okay, so you charge $1,000 or £1,000 for a student to sign up for 12 weeks. Okay, now in that, they're of course getting 2 lessons a week, then everything else that you need to build around your fulfillment systems, to the way that you deliver to your students, like a course curriculum online, like a community hub, like some sort of review process for your students, okay, and support system. This group, let's say it's got 5 people in, and you fill it with 5 people, they all pay $1,000 each for the next 12 weeks, okay? 5 people times $1,000, $5,000, right? So you only needed to enroll 5 students, let's say this next month, to make $1,000, okay? Now, if you master this process I just shared with you, I've worked with teachers who've enrolled like 18 students in a single day. So if someone can enroll 18 students in a single day, I'm sure you can enroll 5 in a single month and make $5,000. Now, for most people, that's almost their entire teaching salary. It might be more than your entire teaching salary, okay? But what you then do is, once that group's full, so you decide to make a cap at either 5 students, or you might expand it to 10, okay? Depends on your experience, okay? Now, then you end up filling group number 2, and they see you perhaps on a Monday at 6 p.m. and then maybe on a Wednesday at 6 p.m. Okay, so that group's seeing you twice a week as well. All right, so now you're only doing 4 hours of teaching. You're not stuck doing something crazy like this, okay? Because if you go back onto this model, if you were charging each of the students, let's say £50 or $50 a lesson, right? Now, that student's going to probably see you once a week, maybe twice a week. So let's say they pay you $100. Now, that's times that by 4 is a month. So, that it's going to be pretty hard at that point to build enough income, okay, to actually make this a full-time thing. Yeah. So from here, we've filled one group of 5 students, $5,000. If we're charging $1,000 for our 12-week minimum sign-up period for the student. Now we fill group number 2, which we just said there's another 5 students, there's another $5,000. Okay. Now you could enroll those 10 students in a single month, and 10 times 1,000 is $10,000. So there's an easy way to get to 10K, and you're only teaching 4 hours a week. Okay. Now, then you end up doing the same with group number 3. You place them perhaps on the Tuesday now. So you fill a slot there. Then you place it here on the Thursday, at 5 p.m. And then you made another $5,000. And that's just 15 students. Okay. Now, from there, you're teaching 3 hours a week at this point. Okay. 6 hours a week. Now you can fill group 4. Okay. Then you can fill group 5 if you want to. Now, obviously, I've just put group 5 there. You could place them anywhere you wanted to, right? But you get the idea. Now, you're teaching 10 hours a week, okay, and you've enrolled, let's just say at minimum, 25 students if there's 5 students in a group. You've got a couple of options here. 1, you can increase your group size to start earning more. 2, you can increase your rate once you've got student results, okay? Because the more results you get, the more you're going to be able to charge, okay? Or 3, you can now start to hire a team of teachers, okay, to actually help you do this. Because remember, this is a business, right? You're trying to become a full-time online tutor. And so goal 1 would be to get to 5 groups, okay, running with 5 to 10 students in. And then once you've modeled that, you simply just need to either, like the students are going to renew at the end of the 12 weeks. You need to make sure you deliver a great service so that you retain them, of course. But at the same time, you can then add some more teaching hours in if you wanted to, because this would allow you to go full-time, right? You've easily surpassed an average teaching salary. You've now got a system in place to get students. You're seen as the expert. You're able to enroll them, to build trust. And now it's all about just delivering those results so that you can either up your rates, validate your teaching skills in those groups online. So you've got something that's scalable. Okay, so if you enjoyed that video, what I can do to help you even further is share with my best-selling book. Okay, it's called Teaching on Your Own Terms. Now, inside of this book, it went to bestseller in 7 categories. It got featured by NASDAQ in Times Square. But I actually dive into each of these 5 steps a little bit further, so it's definitely worth checking out. But I hope you enjoyed the video. So if you liked it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, or check out some other videos on the channel. But make sure you go and get the book, Teaching on Your Own Terms. See you soon.